Get ready for an intellectual clash. At Right for Education, we believe in the power of knowledge and dialogue. We are Right for Education Africa, dedicated to empowering African voices. We believe every African voice matters in shaping the continent's future. This week, the Red Voice Arena brings you an exciting intellectual showdown. It's a powerful debate where passion meets knowledge and ideas meet action. Get ready for the clash between two dynamic teams, Ghana versus Namibia. The Red Voice Arena is more than a competition. It's a platform for growth. Young African authors take the stage to debate and challenge prevailing ideas. They are shaping critical conversations about Africa's future and its place in the world. What can you expect from this exciting debate? This event goes beyond simple competition. It's about fostering critical thinking. It is a vital platform for youth voices, critical thinking, and leadership development. Don't miss the powerful debate, Ghana versus Namibia at the Red Voice Arena. Here's how you can catch all the action from the Red Voice Arena. The debate will be aired live on Sky Alpha Radio every Wednesday. You can also watch the full match on our Right for Education YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on future debates and our educational content. Thank you for joining us for this sneak peek. Right for Education, empowering African voices through knowledge and dialogue.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of this Red Debates competition. So here we have a topic that is kind of a bit of on the fence with this one, because we don't know what goes where, and no way we can definitively decide which one is right or wrong. So today's topic is urbanization versus rural development. Where should the resources go? So a bit about this topic. As populations grow and economies evolve, governments face the challenge of deciding where to allocate resources. Is it towards urbanization, our cities, the towns, or to the rural development, to the rural areas, the villages, or those type of things? So urbanization focuses on expanding cities, improving infrastructure, creating industries, and supporting economic growth through urban centers, whereas rural development focuses on improving infrastructure, healthcare, education, agriculture, and economic opportunities in these areas. So basically, this is what the topic is about. Where can these resources go? Where should the majority of these resources go? And how will it benefit one or the other? So yeah, so first I will start with the rural development team, whoever is going to do the rural development. And then after that, let's go to urbanization. So the two teams, your opening statements, please. Let's start with rural development.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I believe I'm audible enough.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, as we embark on the argument, I'm going to argue on rural development. So to start with, as we all know, rural development is where the roots of sustainability growth lie. And while urban areas, in most cases, is just there on the headlines, it is the communities that keep our nation fed. It's the one that supply our resources, speaking of the natural resources mostly, and preserve the culture. So investing in rural areas at this point means investing in the backbone of our economy, like agriculture, tourism, and local industries. So for me, we should prioritize equitable growth in rural development, not just urban glamours. So with that, I can say resources should go where they uplift many, not only the few. So development should start from our rural areas so that it grow from the ground. If you look at urban areas, they already have almost everything. Infrastructures, you talk of roads, school, hospital. But in rural areas, most rural areas, people are struggling. Not even a clean road that you can find. Clinic, they have to walk miles away. So investing in rural area development means bridging those gaps, reducing inequality, stopping rural urban migration. As we all have learned all these past years, the migration always left the rural area empty. No young ones who can help or elders in the rural area. Why? Because they have to migrate to the urban area in search of jobs and better school. So to stop that, development should go in rural areas for them not to neglect their areas where they grown up, where they are brought up. So, and this also risk overburdening cities, overpopulation in cities, and then we lose our agricultural heritage. Most people, they live in the cities, they forget even how to plow, how to do things that's supposed to be done in the rural area. So let's invest in the future by investing in rural development, and it is time to level up the field, not just one-sided area, developing the cities that are already having things and forget rural areas that bring food that has been eaten in the cities. To me, development should start in rural area. It is time we bridge that gap and then balance the economy.
Okay, thank
Thank you.
you. Okay, thank you. Team Ghana, you are doing urbanization. Your opening argument, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you, moderator. Thank you, fellow leaders. I greet you all. Today, I stand to argue that urbanization deserves a greater share of our natural resources, the resources that the government have to put in place to develop our countries, especially in Africa. I don't say this not because rural development is unimportant, but because our cities and urban areas are the engine that drive our national growth. They reduce poverty and also uplift both the urban areas and the rural communities. Fellow leaders, we are living in an urban century. Today, if you look at the world population, over half of the world population live in cities. And it is projected that by 2050, nearly over 70% of humanity will be urban dwellers. Africa is at the center of this transformation. Our continent is urbanizing faster than any other region in the world, with over 450 million urban residents expected by 2040. This is not just a future possibility to us, it is the present reality. Urbanization, it is happening everywhere in Africa, and the cities we live in are those who produce more and inject more to the GDP. Looking at the agri products being produced at the rural areas, where are the markets for them to sell at the rural areas? They move it upward to the urban areas where they can get ready markets. Where are the when a man, that is when a farmer is more or less connected to the cities, the person makes more money to support his livelihood. So in essence, when we are concentrating on the urbanization, we'll be able to uplift them from poverty. So a nation that resources its urban areas, its cities stand much firmer, and then the rural areas also benefit immensely from this. Let us look at this. Uh, Urban migration, rural urban migration, just as my colleague said, it is happening. But this, it is a projection that rural-urban migration will continue to happen, even if you are going to resource the rural areas, because people want to get the opportunities in the cities. There are more jobs, there are more tourist sites there, and there are more foreign investors in the urban areas. You see that foreigners come in with investments, they rely in the urban areas. If we are going to resource the rural areas, foreigners will not be interested in coming to do business with us as a country and as a continent at large. So it is very important for us as Africans to concentrate on how to resource our urban areas to stand firm. As they stand firm, we'll be able to uplift the rural areas in that regard. Many may argue here that there is inequality in the distribution of the resources. There is no inequality here. Where the population is much denser, we need to concentrate on the much population more than those who are less. Because if we are going to resource a population that is just that cannot produce much to the economy, that doesn't have much contribution to our GDP, where do we stand as a continent? We will lose a lot. So there is the need for us to stand firm and concentrate on our urban areas, not forgetting of the rural areas as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So both opening arguments are good, and I heard that you guys both focus on the resources, where can the resources kind of thrive, whether in rural or urban areas. So let's get to that point specifically. Let's go with food. Agriculture is kind of like a basis, because it comes from the farm to the shops in the town and even in the villages. So let's go from there. What could the agriculture face with this sort of thing, the rural development and the urban areas? What are your points on those? So let's go with rural development. Mr. Munango, go ahead.
That one, in terms of agriculture, as we all know, we don't farm in the cities. This one, whether cities can be built that high, how high they will go, agriculture will remain being produced mostly in rural area where there's big field and when you look at agriculture itself, the root of agriculture, it starts with before commercial farming comes in. It starts so small. Family, they produce their own food that they are eating. They normally don't rely on cities. The people we are saying they are moving from rural area to the cities, they have been fed through agriculture without the help of the city. So that's why if we develop these rural areas, even the tourist attraction will come to the village or in rural areas. So what we are arguing here is rural area on its own as it is stable, but it needs more equality in terms of better healthcare. And even in agriculture, as you are saying, we must focus more on agriculture. Machineries are needed in rural development so that it makes our agriculture economy grow faster, rather than people in rural areas rely on using plowing with their animals, and it's only few that are accessible to this machinery. So what I'm saying is agriculture is a significant sector in the rural area. It contributes more to the growth of the city. So to share a 50-50 way of economy, is to develop the rural area.
Okay. Thank you. Team Ghana, your thoughts on this question? Mute yourself. Thank you. Yes, Moses, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Uh, it is clear, just as my colleague have kept his point, agriculture comes from the rural areas. But let us take a look at this. It is not just about the land. We are talking about how to sell it. The cities, the urban areas here, they provide already market for them. They produce, they have access to market where they can sell to get their money. So if we are going to be emphasizing on going to the rural areas to develop them, if the capacity of them to be able to produce and make money will be less. So agriculture survives on demand, not just the ordinary land. Urban areas, they have stable markets for crops and livestock to be bought. There are better prices due to what? The high demand as well. And this also reduces post-harvest losses in the sense that you will produce at the rural area, but you will not get any market for it. The demand in the urban areas are much, so it will help in reducing post-harvest losses. Let us also look at urbanization also enables the agro-processing. They are where their factories are already set up. We can be able to use it to do mailing, packaging, and even exports. In the rural areas, we don't have any of these factories that can be able to do exports for us to change our agricultural products into package and other goods. So it is very important that we be able to set up this in the urban areas, whereby we can be able to get more money, value money out of our agri tools. So when we produce, we'll be able to add more value to it. Also, looking at the cities, they improve on the agricultural infrastructure of the rural areas as well. You will see that they will create roads linking to farms, whereby they can go and get the produce. And this will also help the rural areas to get roads and infrastructure. The transport networks and logistics are also built up somewhere in the rural areas, whereby they can be able to get the agri produce transported to the cities. So this will enable them to have the infrastructure, good road networks will also be created. And it will also lead to them to be technologically advanced in a sense that when people from the urban areas are coming down to the rural areas to make purchases of goods, it's important that they uplift the area to be network connected. So in this regard, I think urban areas need to be resourced so that they can support, they can be a backbone to the rural areas in this agri produce. Also, without not forgetting on the finances that the urban areas bring on board. Loans, microfinance institutions, banks, investors from the urban areas come to the rural areas to support them, to be able to establish and to be able to farm. I heard my brother argue that they started, they already have produced, they produce within their capacity, they don't need the support of the cities. They really need the support of the cities to produce at large scale so that they can be able to market and make more money to survive without even going on migrations to the urban centers. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you guys for your points. Let's leave it there so far. So guys, I'd like to hear from you. What are your thoughts based on what was shared so far? Where do you think should the resources go? Should it go to urban areas, cities, towns, or should it go to the rural areas or rural development, the villages, all those types? So let us hear your thoughts on this topic. So the floor is open for the audience. Let's just take two and then let's go back to the teams. Okay, so we have a comment here. It is from Nicole. So Nicole says, when we go the rural development, imagine a farmer with good roads, storage facilities, electricity, mobile banking, and markets nearby. That person won't rush to Kampala or Nairobi to struggle. Instead, they'll produce, employ others, and grow wealth right there. So resources have to be channeled to the rural areas. Though I think we shouldn't only look at agriculture at large, because there's a lot that needs to be resourced. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your points. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts on this? Maybe they agree or disagree with what Nicole has said. Okay, yes, Mawa, and then After Mao, let's go to the team. So please, Mao, let's keep it short and brief. So Mao, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sifili. Thank you, everyone. And I do thank both teams for the great points that they're stating here. And here I have a question, actually, not a comment. So imagine that you're going to have a meeting, like a brief meeting with any government representative, and you have to present a proposal with only one item in order to show how important your stand is. What is this component that you're going to present in your proposal? This is a question for both teams. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mawa. Okay, so yeah, good point made there. It's kind of a gray area with this one. Rural development is also important, but then we have urbanization. So in a way, it's on the fence here. But thank you for your point. Okay, so now let's go to both of the teams. Let us continue this conversation. I would like to throw in a question for you both. Which approach better reduces poverty and inequality? Because as you all know, there are countries that are facing that a lot, poverty and inequality. When you go to, and it's on both sides, the urban people kind of have a dislike with the rural people and vice versa. So now how can we reduce that? How can we fix that? Not fix that, but maybe better it so that there's less of it. The question again, which approach better reduces poverty and inequality? So I will start with Mr. Munango on that, and then we go to Moses.
In terms of resources, reducing poverty and inequality, it's investing, let me say, when we are investing in rural area, because I'm basically on rural area, the poverty rate is already high. Now, in most cases, government launch initiatives in rural development program focusing on infrastructure services, economy, boosting income through modern agriculture. So most rural family, as you know, they rely on farming. When we are developing rural areas, we must bring in better seeds, irrigation, modern tools, farmers that can grow food at a large scale. And also in terms of climate change, we need perfection that will make sure we must not be hit by climate change. And also stable prices where everyone can afford to buy and sell. So market access, yeah, like I said, roads that can allow farmers to get to their goods to the city. Like my opponent said, we need to sell our food market in the city. But what we want with this road is the urban people to come to the rural area where food is being made. So in terms of inequality, inclusive economic growth, we need to prioritize job creation in all sectors, like tourism, agriculture, and manufacturing. Not only when people seek job, it has to be the city. Job market should be also in rural areas, local schools, building schools in rural area, and the healthcare should also be better healthcare, not only just any healthcare like the one we are witnessing in rural area. Better healthcare should also be in rural area with better doctors surrounding all areas. So, and we must also, for example, instead of selling a tomato at the village in the open small area. So if there's an establishment in the rural area, a big market where people in that area can sell their goods, the food that they produce, they will also create job for themselves. So that is the quality we need in rural area to avoid this inequality of in terms of jobs and the other things. So with that one, I can say that's my point for now.
Okay. Thank you. Moses, your thoughts on the question, please?
Thank you so much. How we can use, how urbanization can solve the problem of inequality and poverty. According to World Bank report that was conducted in Washington, D.C., October 23rd, 2013, on the main point, harnessing urbanization to end poverty and boost prosperity in Africa. It says, Africa is witnessing an unprecedented projected population growth of more than 40,000 new urban inhabitants per day between now and 2040. Investing in cities is central to scaling the next stage of Africa's development. Cities are engines of economic growth, already accounting for more than 2/3 of the economic output in most developed countries. And the trend in Africa is similar. Therefore, we need to put much of our resources in urban areas. Now, let us look at this. When we are investing in the cities, we do not mean we are abandoning the rural areas. This is very false, because strong cities strengthen rural economies. Like if there is in an economy, if the cities are vibrant and well-to-do, it will be the backbone of the rural areas. How the rural centers will provide us with agri produce, the access to the market is available for them. So this one will prevent or reduce poverty and inequality, because they will kind of say, why do we produce and we don't get market? But there is available market for you to be able to sell and also make what gains out of it. Farmers earn more when they are connected to the cities, as already said earlier. So if you are connected to the city, you make more money. So as you produce the agricultural produce, you are not in any way disabled, or you are not in any way disadvantaged, because you'll be making what gains out of it. Another thing that I want us to also look at is on the issue of improve access to education. Now, the universities and the technical institutions and the vocational and skills training all available, they are in a way able to raise productivity and wages, allowing people from the poor backgrounds, to move up to the economic calendar. Also, when we talk about the foreign investors, when the foreign investors are coming, they are coming to the urban areas. What they prefer to see are the infrastructure, labor availability, and the market size. They will not move down to urban areas. So if the countries are going to go down to the rural areas now, trying to bring up the rural areas to develop, we are going to lose a lot of support from the investors, who are foreigners especially, and also the private sectors. Well, the private sectors, without the infrastructure in the urban areas, will not want to create jobs. So as the investment increases, it will lead to job creation, and we, those in the rural areas, will also be employed. As infrastructure increase in the urban areas, it will lead to technology transfer. As they are developed, the rural areas will also be technologically connected. It will also lead to higher government revenue for the social programs. Government will get revenue out of the cities, which they can use to implement social intervention projects in the rural areas. Without the support of the cities, how are you going to get social intervention projects? We can't fund it. There will be no money for us to fund the rural areas projects that we see. Sometimes you see they come to the rural areas to say we are going to support in irrigation facilities, we are going to support in this for farmers, we are going to support this to help uplift them. Where do they get the money? The money is being generated out of the urban areas. So I am not saying we should just focus solely on the urban areas, no, but the urban areas have to take much of the resources that the government have to give out to the economy so that they can be able to support the rural areas to develop as well. Now, let us also take a look at the strong cities, how they lift rural areas, making them to feel equal in the society. They create demand for the raw products produced. They finance projects. Some rural schools are being financed through the city's support, through the urban area support. Clinics are being financed through the support of the urban areas. Rural areas cannot be able to fund them own self in constructing bridges, dams, getting clinics for themselves, good education. No, it is as a result of the support of the cities and the urban areas. So if the resources are concentrated in developing the urban areas, the rural areas will not also be left out. They will be involved and everybody will grow and the economy will boost. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, good points made on the question. Thank you for your answers. It's been really, really good. So, an audience member, I think, Mawa asked this question. This is for both teams. So here is the question for you guys. If both of you, like the teams, both of you had a brief meeting with a government representative to share proposals with only one component supporting their views, which component would they present as the irresponsible one sealing the deal in their favor? So this is the question raised by Mawa. I repeat, if you guys had a brief meeting with a government representative to share proposals with only one component supporting their views, which component would they present as the irresponsible one sealing the deal in their favor? So basically, it's what if you had a meeting with a government representative to share proposals with only one component supporting the views, which component would be better? Yeah, basically, in sealing the deal in their favor, which one would be better in the long term, I should say. So that is the question raised. So the two teams, whenever you're ready, you can answer the question raised by Mawa. Okay, so I will go with Mr. Monango. Your answer to the question, please.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. This one's too easy. So the component I'll argue with is the land. So land is important everywhere else in the world. Without land, you cannot build anything. So as we all know, in the rural area, we have a big space of land so that we can provide for any types of development. So, because if we have enough land in our space, that means investors can come in numbers and they can all invest in our land. So to answer short, land is our microchip here that I am going to use. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moses, your answer to Mawa's question, please.
If I understand the question clear, the component has in. Can you come again with the question about the component? Is it a raw good or
A resource? It can be a resource, so land, mineral, whatever the case may be. The question is, if you guys had a brief meeting with a government representative to share proposals with only one component supporting your views, which component would that be? That is a solid basis that would seal the deal in your favor? That one thing that, yeah, this one will work long term.
All
Anna
right.
noted.
So
Yes, Mr.
in supporting my claim on urbanization, I will go with foreign investment as a proposal when this opportunity is given. Because looking at the globe now, many of the African countries, if not all, are on the dependence on foreign investors and foreign support. So if you get a proposal of foreign investment coming into the cities to invest, it will uplift us and move us from poverty. Let us look at foreign investment as a whole. When investors are there, they create jobs for the people. They solve unemployment issues. They increase to the GDP by paying of taxes to the government. And also, they come in and then the other foreigners are attracted to come into our countries. This also lead to what? The tourism, building of the tourism sector. So if I'm given this opportunity, my great deal should be going for the foreign investment, how to package our urban areas to attract foreigners. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to the two teams. Thank you, Mawa, for your question. Okay, I'll give the floor to Mawa. Based on what has been shared by both teams, since this is your question, what are your thoughts on this?
Thank you for the great answers. But you know what? If I were the government representative making the decision, I need more to make the decision, because this is about investing money. This is about being responsible for doing something that important. So, is there any data supporting your point? Like, for example, here I hear Mr. talking about land. So here, if we're talking about the space available, is it really possible to just invest in it? Like how much money would be really necessary in order to invest? If we're talking about the revenue, how much are we expecting? If we're talking about this land, is it only available in rural areas? Like what about the city? Maybe we have the same space in the city. So why investing in this area rather than the city? So I think we need more data, we need more numbers, we need more information in order to make it clear for making a decision. Like if we're going to work on town planning, for example, what should be done? Like, you know, we need some kind of clear steps to follow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mawa, sorry, Anna, your hand was raised. Your thoughts on what was shared so far? Hello, Anna?
Good day, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I am representing the Namibian chapter. So the question at hand, if I was to create a proposal for the government, right, I would advise the government on development priorities, right? So I would choose what is effective, and that is the rural development. Not because cities are unimportant, but because without strong rural communities, the cities eventually collapse. So my point is that if we, for instance, let's say we invest, let's say 2 million or million in a city, that million is only going to circulate amongst the professionals, corporations, and property owners. However, if we invest that whatever amount that is in a rural community, we will therefore see transformation, right? We will therefore see schools being built where farmers will be created, or businesses there'll be startups, business startups everywhere. And for that, we are able to see that one investment lifts 100, which is a return on investment. Therefore, the reason why I do not support the fact that we need to focus on the urban development is that, yes, we can agree that urban development gives power to those who already have it. However, rural development only gives rural development gives power to those who never did. such as land access and whatsoever. So from my point, I would advise the government to focus more on the rural areas because they are the ones that sustain the economy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anna, for your points there. Okay, so this is the last question that I want to throw to the teams on this one, and then after that, we're going to do concluding thoughts. So the question that I want to throw to both teams is this: is a balanced investment between urban and rural areas more effective? So let's say the government says, here's a budget of 5 million for argument's sake. We need to divide this 5 million to both of you. Now with this investment, this funding, can it be effective that both of you can use this money wisely? And if so, how can you guys both work together on this? If not, how would you like your argument, how would you make this investment grow, and also it's for the future generations and in the long term area, not in the short term, in the long term? So I repeat the question: is a balanced investment between urban and rural areas more effective? So please answer with yes or no, and please give a reason why. So I'll start with the rural development team. Hello, Mr. Munango, are you there? Okay, let's move on. We'll go back to him. Moses, your thoughts on the question?
No, it won't be effective.
Okay, your reasons. You cannot just say no. We need to
I guess Mr. Munanga just came online. That's why I thought he wanted to make some submission.
Okay, let's go to Munango. Mr. Munango, sorry. Mr. Munango, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, to me, that approach can be effective if it's done strategically. Why I say so? Because dividing between the urban and the rural areas can help to address the unique of promoting the overall growth. Earlier on, we were talking about this, the inequality. And now, if there's an equal share portion, to me, that approach is effective. Because if we look at the short term of that money, we said, if it's half, there will be an immediate job creation. Invest in labor-intensive projects, the infrastructure that we talk about, social programs in rural areas, and small businesses in urban areas as well. So there can be, it's a quick win to identify a high impact project, and then we improve the access of clean water with that fund. Now, if rural areas have clean water and there's energy in rural areas, it also works like upgrading slums in urban areas. To me, it's both effective. So, and then also in the short-term range, there should be a target intervention addressing specific challenges like the food security in rural areas and urban poverty. There are certain things that balance both rural and urban. So to me, it is still effective. And because in a long-term run, we can talk of sustainable growth, which was the point I opened up with. We invest in renewable energies, sustainable agriculture, and like the ecotourism is to promote environmental sustainability. And then the economy diversion, yeah. And human capital development, invest in education, vocational, healthcare that we just spoke about, and also productivity in both urban and rural areas. Institutional strengthening, support local government, decentralization, and community-led development to ensure that sustainability and local ownership it's achieved. So to make this investment effective, yeah, we prioritize the higher impact project. We focus on those projects, economy, social, and environmental return. So in that way, it will be both effective on the both sides. So the other thing to look at on that one is we must foster a collaboration after all. Engage in communities and coordinate at ownership. I'm explaining. Yeah, yes, it's effective. Maybe my colleague, Anna, there's something maybe she can add on. And thanks for coming on board.
Okay, thank you. Before we get to Anna, let us hear Moses on his thoughts on this question. So Moses, go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Equal allocation of resources, it sounds fair, and it thinks it will kind of solve the problem of equality, but it is economically inefficient. Why do I say this? The rural areas are not the engines of the economy. In a country, the cities are those that bring up the economy. So when we are allocating resources equally, it will shrink the economy down. Just as we are saying, there are much populations in the urban areas. These populations need to be catered of. They need to be taken care of. They need to be provided with jobs so that they can increase the growth of the economy. Now, we have allocated equal share to the rural areas which are lessly populated. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the grounds to be able to stand up. Although it sounds so fair, as I've said, but it is not economically sound. We need to focus much on the urban areas whereby we can inject more into the urban areas and less into the rural areas. Because when we are going to do that, we are going to expand more opportunity at the urban areas. We are going to create more jobs at the urban areas. There are infrastructures already, there are amenities already. We don't need to build amenities there. We are going to expand that so that there will be more jobs there. People will be there, people will be occupied, so they can have contributions to the economy. Also, this will also help in reducing poverty in a whole, because already they have infrastructures. So we are going to just use the money wisely so that we can be able to get projects that can stand firm for longer goals. But in rural areas, when we are given this allocation equally, I don't think the foundation can hold, because the infrastructures are not enough, the networks connection are not enough, poor road networks and all that. So it will not make it up to be able to help the economy to stand more firm. So let us look at distribution in a way that can support the rural areas, but that not focus on distribution equally, because it will not help the economy and the country at large. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for your points, guys. Thank you to the answer. So basically, you guys are on the fence here with this one. So Team Ghana says no, and then Team Namibia says it can work. So for here, it's a bit balanced here. It needs some work. Not gonna lie, it needs work for both. We need to at least both parties should come to an agreement, because at the end of the day, we want both to develop, to both grow in for the betterment of the country. So in a way, it's a bit on the fence with this one, but thank you for your points, guys. Okay, so let's go to the audience now, and then after that, let's go to concluding thoughts. We are almost out of time. Okay, so now let's go to the concluding thoughts. Okay, so guys, with all that has been discussed and all the questions that were shared by the audience members and from me, what are your concluding thoughts? thoughts on this? What can convince us that that option is better than the other option? So I will start with Mr. Monango. Your concluding argument, please.
Thanks for the floor once again. In conclusion, I would like just to say, investing in rural development is not just a moral imperative, but it's a smart economic strategy, especially if you look at my country, Namibia, growth. By addressing these unique challenges and opportunities in rural areas, we can unlock the potential of our rural communities, promote sustainable growth, and build more equitable society. Let's just work together to create a brighter future for the nations, because rural development is needed. Without rural development, cities and towns cannot stand. If we develop the rural areas, overpopulation will reduce in urban areas because people will now stay in rural area because there's a development there as well. So together, if the cities must learn to share these resources by developing the rural areas, nations will grow and will build a better nation. With me, I still argue and support that rural development should be the start of the economic growth for every nation. Because where we find all the minerals, everything that is used to build cities is coming from rural. We grow our food, then we reduce overexpenditure of borrowing money from other nations. But that can only happen if we develop our rural areas. And I thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moses, your concluding thoughts, please.
Thank you so much. In concluding, according to the United Nations report in 2015, 54% of the world population live in urban areas. And this is expected to increase by 60%. Along with other key pillars, tourism constitutes a central component in the economy, the social life, and the geography of many cities in the world. It is thus a key element in urban development policies. So when we invest on the urban areas, they will help in contributing to tourism, hereby solving the SDG 17, which is SDG Goal 11, which says, make cities and human settlement inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Tourism is directly linked to how a city develops itself and provide more and better living conditions to its residents and visitors. When cities invest in tourism, they invest in jobs, entrepreneurship, and growth. Marrakesh, a city in Morocco, is a compelling example. In 2024, the city welcomed nearly 4 million tourists, each one supporting livelihood from hotel staff to street vendors, guides, and artisans. Multiply that across the world cities, and it's become clear why urban development is a powerful driver of jobs and local economic development. Now, the lion's share of the growth is taking place in cities. Urban destinations account for about 75% of global tourism, with half of all international visits centered in major cities. My opponents have talked about how rural areas need to be given the resources more. But Africa's future will be decided in e-cities. Investing in urbanization is not a rejection of the rural development. It is a foundation that makes rural development sustainable. Cities generate the wealth, the jobs, the innovation, the technology needed to end poverty, which is needed to also boost shared prosperity and to secure long-term national growth. If we want opportunity for all, jobs for our youth, and progress for our nation, then the answer is clear. We must invest boldly, wisely, and strategically in our cities. Investing in our cities is investing in the whole nation and in the whole continent. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, teams, for your concluding thoughts. Okay, I will take one point from the audience and then we're going to close it off. So, Anna, your thoughts, please. Hello, Anna, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. To conclude, right? The opposition team basically keeps on pushing for the motion of urban development, whereas we need to be more realistic as to how everything functions in our economy. Without the rural areas or the rural development, which is the core fuel of how every economy runs, because without the rural areas, there cannot be a urban development, right? So we need to target poverty where it begins. We need to target poverty where it begins by supporting rural areas, whereas this will reduce forced migration and also create self-sustaining local economies. So uh, with Namibia, the motion still states that rural developments should be more considered than urban areas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Okay, so we have a comment from the audience. We have Nicole who says, my concluding thought is, at the end of the day, both parties deserve to be resourced. But before resourcing them, we have to know which party is at an injury point of urgency, which could be urbanization or maybe rural development. So it's the government's responsibility to distribute accordingly to where the resources have to work effectively for better sustainable development growth, if I'm not mistaken, SDGs. So yeah, okay. Thank you, Nicole, for your point. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts before we close off? I think we can have one more person to share their thoughts on this. Okay. So I will share a concluding thought based on this topic and based on what the two teams have shared so far. So overall, this debate, it's not going to stop here. The debate between urbanization and rural development reflects the broader challenges of achieving balanced national progress. I think this is a thing both points want to achieve. We want national progress. While urbanization can drive economic growth, innovation, and rural development, employment opportunities, rural development can promote food security, reduces migration pressure on cities, and improves the quality of life in undeserved communities. So basically, rather than choosing one over the other, the main thing here is sustainable national development. This depends on the strategic investment in both urban and rural areas. By ensuring inclusive planning, equitable resource distribution, and long-term development policies, governments can support economic growth while improving living standards across both city and rural populations. And I think also address this thing of poverty and inequality. If both parties have respect for each other and understanding, then there could be a way for both to work together. But if a government prioritizes one over the other, I think the main thing that must be focused on is development, progress, growth, and it must benefit everyone, whether in rural areas or urban areas. It must affect everyone involved. So thank you all so much for your perspectives and your points on this topic. This is a very interesting one, and this is one that we all see every day in our countries. Let us continue to push this kind of conversation, and let's continue to talk about this.